Good evening. Welcome to the City of Hialeah County Zoning Board meeting for Wednesday, March 9th, 2022. Roughly twice for the invocation of such allegiance. Now we'll have the Dear Lord, thank you for giving us the opportunity to meet here to serve our citizens and grant us the wisdom to do the right decisions for our community. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Meeting guidelines. The following guidelines apply to today's Planning and Zoning Board meeting. Any person, whether participating via the web platform, telephonic conferencing, or physical presence at City Hall, interested in making comments or posing questions on any item on the agenda may do so during the meeting. Members of the public may hear the meeting live through telephonic conferencing using any telephone or cellular phone service. A smart device or computer are not necessary to participate in the meeting if you join by phone. All persons participating via the web platform will be muted during the meeting until called upon to be heard. Participation through Zoom requires a computer or smart mobile device with a microphone and web camera. The participant may elect to participate in the meeting using audio only or appear through both audio and video. The video function of all participants appearing through video will be turned off until called upon to be heard. All lobbyists must register with the Planning and Zoning Board prior to item being heard. A maximum of 4 speakers in favor and 4 speakers in opposition will be allowed to address the Planning and Zoning Board on any item. Each speaker's comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Item number 1, roll call. Mr. D. Perez? Here. Mr. Ramon?
Here.
Mr. Iglesias? Is absent. Mr. Jimenez? Mr. Ulloa?
Here.
Mr. Casanova?
Here.
Mrs. Enriquez? We have a quorum. Item number 2, approval of Planning and Zoning Board summary agenda of February 16th, 2022 as submitted.
Motion to approve.
Motion, Mr. Casanova, second, Mr. Ulloa. Mr. Ramon?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez? Mr. Casanova?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez? Mr. D. Perez? Item has been approved. Administration of oath to all applicants and anyone who will be speaking before the board on any item.
Anyone that's going to speak in front of the board, please stand, raise your hand. Let's get this sworn in. Si van a prestar, si van a hablar frente de nosotros, por favor pónganse de pie. Pónganse de pie para jurar. Okay?
You affirm to tell the truth before this board.
Thank you. Please, doesn't hurt. Mike?
Hello. Okay. All right. Yeah, I told you, you didn't authorize me, so thank you.
A written decision and resolution will be prepared and presented for review to the City Council. The City Council is authorized to affirm with conditions, or override the decisions by resolution. After the resolution is adopted, contact a member of the City Clerk's office to obtain a copy of the final decision and resolution. Upon your receipt of the final decision and resolution, contact the building department to obtain your required building permit. Summary minutes or a copy of the audio file of the proceedings before the Planning and Zoning Board shall be prepared and submitted to the city before its hearing. The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the City Council at its scheduled meeting of Tuesday, April 12, 2022. Final decision. Item number 3, final decision. To allow a rear setback of 16.34 feet where 20 feet are required for addition to be legalized. Allow a rear setback of 3.15 feet where 7.5 feet are required, and allow interior north side setback of 3.03 feet where 7.3 feet are required for an existing accessory building to be legalized. Property located at 6447 East 4th Avenue, Hialeah Zones R1, one family district. Applicant, Anaelis Anoseto.
Anaelis?
She should be through.
Anaelis?
She should be in
Is she in
Zoom.
meeting and in the Zoom meeting?
Or Dania.
Hello?
Yeah.
Is she on there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Ah, there you are.
I'm Dania. I'm not
Good
the owner,
evening,
but
Dania. Can you please identify yourself, name and address?
yes, my name is Dania Mesa, and I live at 9200 West Calusa Club Drive, and it's Miami, Florida 33186.
Thank you, ma'am. The city planner is going to read your
So-
application into the record, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, let me ask, so you are the applicant, but you don't live at this home, no?
No,
Okay,
I'm the applicant, correct?
okay. But you're the owner of the home and you rent the
The
home?
owner is supposed to be joining us. I don't know what has happened. I guess she says she's in mute.
Okay, but she's authorized in
Yeah.
the
I
application.
mean, I can talk for her, but she also wanted to be, I don't know why she's not.
Well, she should be here because, there she is. No, she
That's
should be
Tanya.
here because there are conditions, so I think that she should be here to
I
accept.
think there's a problem with her phone because I just talked to her and she said she was connected. Um, can I try calling her?
Well, if she is authorized to,
She's authorized in
She says it doesn't let her unmute.
is it on
She
writing?
said-
Is it on the record that she is an authorized representative?
On writing, no. She didn't submit a letter saying that, oh, Denia will. No.
She's not, the application was done by the owner and not here. Applicant information, owner of the property is not the representative.
Okay, Danielle, let's do this. Is there any
Okay.
way possible you can contact the other individual and see if they can get online? And what we'll do is we'll postpone you, we'll move you down one or two appointments, not appointments, but down the list. And we'll get right back with you as soon as you talk to her, because you're kind of putting us in a hard spot here. We're not really authorized to talk to you and on behalf of this item. Okay, is it okay with the rest of the board to skip this item for just, one or two?
Yeah.
Move on until she get, okay, all right, let's, David, we don't need to take a vote on this, we just move on, okay.
Later.
So let's put this on to the side, let's move on to the next item.
Item number 4, final decision to allow rear setback of 9.83 feet where 20 feet are required for existing terrace to be legalized. Property located at 7105 West 15th Avenue. Hialeah zoned R4 townhouses. Applicant, Lisbeth Hermida.
Okay, she is here. Okay. Name and address, please.
7105 West 15th Avenue, Hialeah 33014.
Okay, thank you.
The property in this application is a townhouse located on the east side of West 15th Avenue, south of West 72nd Street. The property is adjacent on its north and east side to Lake Orleans. A code-compliant case is active on the property since 2018 for building without permit. The original 2-1 townhouse has an addition at the rear that includes a master bedroom and a terrace and was built without the benefit of a building permit. At this time, building permit 2021-9294 is on review and has been denied by zoning since the terrace is encroaching into the rear set. The applicant is now before the city requesting an adjustment to the rear setback to allow 9.83 feet where 20 feet are required. Since the property is abutting the lake, the rear setback reduction has no impact and may be approved. The recommendation is approved.
Thank you. Comments or questions? Would you like to identify yourself, please?
Elisa Garcia, I'm from Easy Permits and Legalization. We're the permit expediter assisting the owner in the process.
Address?
488 Palm Avenue.
Okay. So you are, in a way, you're representing her?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you understand the recommendations from the city planner?
Yes.
Do you have any comments or questions on this item?
No.
Good. Comments or questions from the board? No? Anyone in the audience have a comment or question on this item? Anyone in the electronic audience? Closes the part of the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve?
Motion, Mr. Casanova. Second, Mr. Jimenez. Mr. Gamon,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Casanova,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Item has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we go back to item number three?
Is she, we see if if she was able to, successful to get a hold of the.
Is that her? Is that her on the phone? Look,
She's on mute.
precise medical billing.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was trying to mute myself, but for some reason it didn't let me.
Okay, would you please identify yourself?
My name is Ana Lizano Seto, and I live at 6447 East 4th Avenue.
Now, you see, that name matches the application. Thank you. Okay, she will read it into the record, and then we'll discuss the merits of your application.
So the property in this application is a single-family home located on the east side of East 4th Avenue, south of East 65th Street, and the Amelia Earhart Park. The property has an open code compliance case since 2020 for building an additional living unit and other improvements without the benefit of a building permit. A building permit is in process for the legalization of the addition and is currently denied by zoning because the unpermitted addition and an accessory building are encroaching into the setback. The plans submitted with the application show the north side addition with 2 exterior doors and a layout that suggests 2 additional living units, reinforced by the fact that the laundry is outside of the house. The requested setbacks are 16.34 feet, where 20 feet are required for the addition to be legalized, rear setback of 3.15, where 7.5 feet are required, and interior north side setback of 3.03 feet, where 7.0 feet are required for an existing 105 square feet accessory building to be legalized. The requested setbacks may be approved with the condition that the 2 side doors on the north side of the addition be removed and that a 6 feet opening is provided to connect the house and addition in a manner consistent with a single-family home layout. The recommendation is to approve with these conditions.
Thank you. Did you understand the recommendations from the city planner?
Yes, I did.
Do you have any comments or questions on this item?
No, I don't.
Do you agree to her conditions?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Comments or questions from the board? Anyone in the audience have a comment or question? Anyone in the electronic audience? This is the part of the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Approve with conditions.
Second that motion.
Motion, Mr. Ulloa, second, Mr. Casanova. Mr. Jimenez? Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Gamon?
Yes.
Mr. Casanova?
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Okay, thank you.
The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard at the City Council at a scheduled meeting of Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. Item number 5. Item number 5 is actually it's going to be withdrawn. We need to re-advertise.
Okay, you did remove it from our packet?
Yes.
Okay,
I did.
so no action.
So no action? All right. So item number 5, no action.
Let's read the address for the
Okay.
record.
Yes,
So
please.
the address for item number 5 is 301 East 49th Street, Hialeah zoned RO residential office.
Okay.
Moving forward, item number 6, rezoning property from R1 one family district to P parking. Property located at 390 East 43rd Street, Hialeah zoned R1 one family district. Applicant Ricardo Largo.
Ricardo Largo? Name and address, please.
Hola,
Nombre y dirección.
2818 Southwest 62 Avenida, Miami, Florida 33155.
Su nombre.
Ricardo Largo.
Thank
He
you.
has also a representative assisting him, Emilio Agrenot. that
Emilio
is-
Grano,
Yes.
representante.
Sí, he's here online.
Okay, Emilio, I don't think you were sworn in, were you? No, can't hear you. You mute.
You have to unmute yourself there.
I am here.
There you are. Okay, do you raise your hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, would you identify yourself, Emilio?
Emilio Grenot, 115 Southwest 185th Street, Miami, Florida, 33157. There is also a partner of mine on the web, also on the that she might add some things to the project if it needs to be.
Okay,
Okay.
and you are authorized to speak on behalf of the applicant?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Is your partner available or?
She is Maria. Are you online?
I tell you what, while she gets her act together, let's read the item into the record.
Okay, okay.
Give her a minute or so to get, push the right buttons, and then we'll get back with you.
Okay.
The property in this application is a vacant, low-density residential site located on the south side of East 43rd Street. The site is adjacent to a commercial property on its east side and on the east half portion of its south property line, and adjacent to single-family homes on its west and west half portion of its south property line. Across the street on 43rd Street, the property fronts on the north side a single-family home and the west end of a fast food restaurant. The commercial property adjacent to the west side of the property also has a restaurant and market. Both the fast food and restaurant with market sites front East 4th Avenue, that is one of the main north-south corridors in the city. The applicant, who is the owner of the adjacent restaurant and market business, wants to improve the subject property as parking for his business, to replace the existing parking where he plans to build an addition to the existing restaurant. To be able to do so, he's requesting rezoning from R1 to P. As per the plan submitted with the application, the site as a whole complies with the required parking, landscaping, and walls separating the similar uses regulations. Since the additional parking will help keep out commercial parking from the adjacent residential neighborhood to the west, and the proposed wall and adjacent landscape area will provide an adequate buffer, the proposed use and related rezoning are recommended for approval.
Thank you, Mr. Storch. Emilio, do you have any comments or questions on this item? Would you like to?
No, Mr. Perez, I don't at this time. We try to work with Deborah on achieving this variance. And this is as per concept of Mr. Lago. And, we are going ahead later on in the future to comply with the rest of the restaurant addition.
Okay, we do have an email on file
Okay,
that needs to be read into the record. If you just bear with us for a minute.
sure.
Yeah. Also, since the map is not a very good map, we prepared the map in color so you can see the zoning of the properties, and we will put it there in the screen.
Yep.
So what is the light yellow is single-family homes. What is the darker yellow is duplexes, and all the rest is commercial. The red is C2, the one with the pink and gray is C1, and then there is a C3, that is the red with the oblique lines.
The stripes.
Okay. And this is this like right next to McDonald's or?
Yeah.
Across the street
Yes.
from McDonald's, yes.
Okay, so go ahead and read that into the record, please.
Hello, Deborah. The earlier emails I sent you were pictures I took in different months starting in August 2021, September 2021, October 2021, and most recently today, March 9th, 2022. I sent you these pictures of several reasons. First, 20 years ago, when we went to City Hall to dispute the building of this restaurant, we met with the owner. We finally agreed to not oppose the start of this business because a promise was made by the owner to keep the property clean and picked up so it doesn't make our neighborhood literally look trashy. That never happened. It's been 20 years of picking up their trash. Second, the backup of traffic on the corner of 43rd and East 4th Avenue is brutal. Most neighbors won't even go that direction because of the chaos and confusion happening on that corner. Numerous people are breaking street rules, crossing double yellow lines, making a left turn when street sign says right turn only, and constantly blocking and making our corner a traffic nightmare. It's awful. Third, with the amount of delivery trucks going to that business stopping to unload their trucks, they are constantly blocking the road and disrupting traffic flow. Fourth, in addition to the above, the owner, Ricardo Largo, makes matters worse by using a house he bought, 351 East 43rd Street, across the street from his restaurant. This house is zoned single-family residential R1. His employees are always carting these across the street, more disruptions with traffic and nasty garbage. The next door neighbors complain of foul smells, rats, and roaches. For all of these reasons and more, if needed, I could prove how unhappy our neighbors are with this situation by bringing you a signed petition. Please, let's not allow this business to continue trashing our neighborhood, causing traffic and encroaching on our residents. There is only one home left between my house and their business. My neighbor, who is right next door to demolished house, says that the noise coming from the business is also a big problem. They're miserable. They're afraid once they build the parking lot, people will hang out there, drink, race cars down our street. I believe many rules and changes need to be done if we are to agree on the rezoning of said property. Please help our unhappy neighborhood. Sincerely, Teresa Mejides Perez, 322 East 43rd Street.
Also,
Thank you.
some pictures were submitted that we will show in the screen because they were color pictures and we can print them.
Hello?
We hear you. We see you.
Maria,
Yes, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear Deborah. This is Maria Fernandez, 115552 Southwest 15th Street, Weston, Florida. I couldn't bring.
Just a minute, Maria. You have not been recognized yet. Just a minute.
Okay, sure.
We're trying to get some pictures up on the.
We're going to share some pictures that the neighbor that wrote the letter submitted. So we're going to put them on the screen so the board and everyone listening can look at them.
Can you see them on your screen now?
yes.
Okay. Okay. So would you like to,
Would you like
just-
to explain?
are you the one that submitted the pictures? Okay, give us 1 second, please. And you believe me, you get your time. Okay, question. This will be part of the public hearing. We have not opened the public hearing yet, so
Okay.
are these pictures, obviously, they're pertinent to this particular item.
Well, are part of the file because they were submitted by the applicant prior to the meeting. So usually what we do when we receive a letter and some pictures, we print them or the applicant brings them printed. But since there were too many and they were in color and we didn't have the capability to print them, that's why we decided to show them.
Okay, all right, so I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Bear with me, please. You will get your chance. Bear with me. Maria, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you and we can see you.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and give you the floor for just a second. Go ahead and say what you have to say. And then I'm gonna open the floor for public hearing. And then I will have the two young ladies here in the audience, if they want to narrate or ad-lib something interesting stories behind the pictures, okay? So Maria, go ahead, please.
Okay, well, we're the architects for the proposal of the conversion from the residential use to a parking lot. We were not aware of the neighbors' concerns regarding, from what I heard or from the letter, it's mainly like the trash or the noise and the traffic. If approve the new parking lot, there is a 6-foot high masonry wall between this parking and the residential property next to it. I'm sure that the trash issue could be something that Mr. Ricardo could address and maybe be more on top of it so that the neighbors would not complain. And the third item, which was the traffic, I'm not sure, maybe the delivery could be done at a certain hours that is not affected by the neighbors. And I'm sure that Mr. Lago will be willing to work with the neighbors and the zoning department in addressing any of these comments upon approval of the application.
Thank you. Emilio, do you have any comments?
No, Mr. Perez, I am in agreement with Maria. She's my associate on this project, and the items that are called upon on could be worked with Mr. Lago, and I'm sure he will cooperate because it's in the best interest of his business to do so. So we will have to work with him and see, come to a point that we can all be in harmony.
Okay. Thank you, Emilio. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor for public hearing. So y'all please just kind of like stay there and listen carefully. Please come up, state your name and address, and you can go ahead and give us a piece of your mind as far as the pictures are concerned.
I'm Teresa Perez, or Family Diego.
Hey,
322 East 43rd Street, Hialeah, Florida, 33013.
okay. And those are your pictures. You can see them on the,
There's a bunch of pictures. I moved, like I said, like 20 years ago to this property. I was 37 then, now I'm 57. For 20 years, I spoke to this, to Mr. Yes, and he promised me that he was gonna keep up with the garbage. I was getting those little tickets that everybody gets a number. All those are all over my ground all the time. I asked him, do you think you could put a garbage can right under it so that people could put it there? It was there for a few weeks. It disappeared. I asked him again. They never put it back. They never had anybody come and clean the sidewalks. Every weekend, I clean my house, my neighbors that's 80 and 90 that live right next to the property. The girl that's across the street, bipolar, never gets to go out. Trash all over. The lady that lives in front of me, they're in their late 70s. I have to pick up trash for four to five houses. Every single weekend I do that. This morning, I went to take pictures just to see what it would be like, okay? Trash everywhere. If you look at the pictures from March 9th, and you look at the people, you have to zone in and you look, there's from the McDonald's, maybe it's not his property, it's little, things from the straw. People leave the McDonald's or they eat, they dump their food right there, all over the place. He has a man doing corn on the corner and he has chickens everywhere, and then they just throw everything there. If you keep on looking, do you see the amount of garbage? If you blow up the pictures, you can see there's garbage everywhere and it hasn't been picked up. So, I get tired of doing it. My son happens to be in his tennis season now, and I'm one of the coaches for Hialeah Gardens High School. And we're in the middle of our season. I came here today because it's so important because I just can't live like this anymore. The other thing that is very, very difficult besides the garbage is when you're heading on East 4th Avenue and you're heading north and you want to turn left and go west on East 43rd Street, if a car makes that left, they stop to go into the business where the double yellow line is, so nobody else could turn onto 43rd Street. Or somebody leaves a McDonald's, you'll see another one. There, I show you. They'll go straight across the yellow. There's a sign that says right turn only, and everybody just goes across to go. And then sometimes they just wait there, and nobody else could drive down that street. I've seen other places where they have those yellow lines, they have like these poles. So if you come out of the McDonald's, you can't go over the yellow line, there's poles. So it makes you turn right. And the people that want to turn left on East 4th Avenue and 43rd Street, when they go there, they won't be able to turn into the business either if we put the poles there. They'll have to go around, around the block or something, but that becomes like when I come out of my house,
How many more?
I don't even go right anymore. Because if you get stuck there, you're stuck there for several lights. And if they have the people delivering things, it's even worse. And then the house across the street that he has, what are they bringing over there? They bring cards, I see plates, I see a bunch of stuff. I think they used to have refrigeration and they were storing food back there. Why are they storing food back there when it's a home? I know it's his home, but the business is across the street. So every time they're going back and forth, they drop garbage and they block traffic. I mean, I
Okay.
could go on and on. I've lived through it for so long.
I know, you could go on and on. Unfortunately, your time
I
has
can't.
expired,
Okay.
we do appreciate your emotions.
And, could I just say one more thing? Last thing. There was a sign that was supposed to be posted, and I know they have a picture that they said that he posted it February 25th. He must have taken it down February 26th, because if you look at my pictures in August, September, October, I keep taking a picture. There's nothing posted. Right now, when we left my mom's house, and I go, Mom, look, there's a miracle. The sign is up today, the day of the hearing.
The big orange sign?
Let me explain. We have orange signs that give notice of the hearing. They have to be posted 10 days in advance of the meeting. They came in February, they picked up the sign, they posted the sign, they take a picture, they sign a sign affidavit, and we received all that. What happens after that is someone removes it, if there's wind, if it disappears, he's not responsible for that. But since we noticed that he called us and said the sign is no longer there, he called us a week ago. So we called the printing company and we ordered another sign, but the sign, they don't print it like in 2 seconds. So we got the sign today, we called him this morning, and he came and he picked up the sign and he posted the sign again.
Okay, so there's a little give and take there. Okay, thank you. Would you like to, please do, identify yourself.
My name is Maria Mejides.
Mhm.
My address where I live is 625 West 60th Avenue Street, excuse me, Hialeah.
Okay.
And I am her mom, and I am at her house every day, and I am at that, area almost every day because I go to the bank, and I love food I buy from him. Great, okay? So I go there plenty of times. And the reason that I'm here is because, like my daughter said, it's impossible to go 43rd Street to the traffic light on East 4th Avenue. It takes you forever because the street is blocked. I'm talking about 40, in case I got confused. I'm too old. I am 88 years old, so bear with me. I'm not a young lady, okay? No, make sure of that. So if I get out of her house and I try to go to the traffic light on East 4th Avenue, forget it. It takes forever because of the people that are getting out of the parking that he has on his business, and the people from McDonald's making an illegal left turn, blocking the street. And not only that, the people that are trying to come from 4th Avenue, going south to make a right on 43rd to go into, those trying to go into his business is like impossible. So for me, not only the garbage, because she's in charge of the garbage, that's her job. But my main concern is the traffic And not only that, I forgot to mention something. North Hialeah Elementary is a block away, okay? And in the morning, all that traffic is horrible when they are blocking. If you take your children to the school, go another way. It's very difficult, very difficult. So my concern is, yes, he bought that property, he demolished the house, his intention is, and I talked to him last week, right? When did we talk? ¿Cuándo hablamos? Fue la semana pasada, tú y yo. Yeah. About about the parking, fine, the parking is good, but the intention of the parking on that house that was demolished is for him to be able to improve his restaurant, which I don't blame him, People like to go there. So if he's going to improve his restaurant, what I would suggest that it would be better for us, the neighbors, it will be if he doesn't have to go back and forth across the street to that house that he uses as an auxiliary to his business. Is he's going to enlarge his business, the building, then eliminate that going back and forth from across the street, from the residential across the street.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So I'm finished.
Your point noted.
Well, I make a few of my points, not all of them, but
Well,
what can I
no,
do?
it's-
Time is of the essence.
See, we're up
Yeah,
against time. So,
Yeah, you see a
thank you.
double zero there.
thank you.
So I'm gone.
No, you're not going, you just,
No, I'm gone from here. I mean,
Oh.
you're not gonna listen to me anymore. So
okay,
I'm done.
okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else in the audience or electronic audience that may have a comment or question on this item? Okay, the representatives, would you like to have a second shot at it before we take a vote?
She wants to say something.
Real quickly.
The lady
Maria?
was commenting about the wall, that we could build a wall. She says the wall that they built last time has been broken. The other wall that was supposed to
Okay.
be high to divide it from the house they demolished, that wall is half broken and has never been fixed.
Yeah.
So all the trash, all the noise, everything that went to that house. Those people sold it to him. They're going to build another wall. Is it going to break? Are they going to pick up the garbage?
Thank you. Okay,
Point of privilege.
okay, Maria, would you like to,
Yes, please, let me address the council
No,
again. Yes,
no, I'm sorry, your time is up. Okay, let the applicant,
let me just say something. Please, my husband was the first Cuban American elected to the
I know,
city
I know,
council.
I know,
Okay,
I
and
know.
he serves the people,
I know,
and he
I know who you are.
listens to everybody.
I know who you
And
are.
he opened the door for
I
everybody
know,
here.
I
And
know.
now I believe that you have got me short. You
Okay,
know,
I have not,
I have
okay,
got- you
Ms.
got me
Mejides, this is,
short.
no, listen. This is the way it is. Everyone gets a certain amount of time to speak. I have been kind enough to extend that, okay? Not only did the buzzer go off on time and you kept going, your daughter did the same thing, and I also allowed you to come back and do a little rebuttal, just like you're doing. So don't say that we don't listen to you, please. I know your family history. I've been in politics for 30 years or longer. So I know who you are, and I know who you're, the whole deal. So a little bit of respect will go a long way, like I have respected you. Thank you. Okay, Maria, would you like to throw a couple of cents worth?
You're on mute. We cannot hear you, Maria. You have to turn your mic.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay. I just, as a representative of Mr. Lago, I'm sure we can work and try to address, the concerns of the neighbors. That, if we're gonna build a new 6-foot high wall, it will be a new wall, and we'll make sure that it's done properly. I don't know why the other one broke, and maybe Mr. Lago will have to give the proper maintenance. Regarding the garbage, again, I'm sure he will work with that. And regarding the property across the street, is my understanding that property would not be used for any trash collection or anything like that. So that's, I don't know, Emilio, if you want to add anything about it.
Yes, I would like to add that knowing the property very well, there are several things to take account on that, this is a thriving business as he has there, and he would like to improve his property, and the items that are there could be improved once the project is done. As far as some of the issues with the traffic, some of these issues sometimes are not in our power to resolve. Some of these traffic issues are Dade County, or just because of the amount of vehicles that are traveling to that area. There will be plenty of parking space, so Mr. Lago can put a truck in there for deliveries, and he would not be able, or he would not be encouraged to park in the street. So, and we have talked about that, and he has been very favorable on that point.
Okay, I have a question, and then I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues here, because I am, you may not believe me on this, but I am very, very familiar with the gentleman's restaurant. In fact, I patronize his restaurant at least once a week. Okay? You know, you got to give him credit. The food is good, the prices are right. The traffic is horrendous. Yes, bad traffic. McDonald's, especially when school lets out. What used to be Farm Store, which is La Vaquita, okay, across the street. The school, a block further east. The traffic there, plus all the little shopping centers, the little hardware store, the little bakery, the little churro factory, the blah, blah, blah. Everybody turns or uses that light. I am guilty of making that illegal left turn on the double yellow line when I turn on that on the light and try to go into his parking spots. That being said, it is a thriving business. I don't know. There's just it's just too much congestion there. That's my opinion. Just too much congestion. I have seen the debris. I have seen the clutter. Like I said, I typically go there at least once a week. Okay. So that being said, I've said my piece. I'm going to open the floor up to the rest of the board members and see what they say. Please.
Yeah, I have a concern. The home across the street, you're using it for storage, refrigeration, for whatever, is that allowed to be done in a residential? I can't really give this my approval with the condition that you have that home across the street. I feel that this is unfair to the residents of the community, and I feel for you, and I encourage your business to continue growing. But I, with a clear mind, cannot approve this, knowing that you have a second home that is being used without a business permit as a business location.
Mr. Chair, remember code enforcement can weigh in on this, whether it is, as Mr. Riola said, or with regard to who's throwing the trash. If it's McDonald's trash, right, different issue, and or the wall, that if there was an approval based on the wall that's now in disrepair. So there is a way of addressing that, you know, the carrot and the stick that might compel compliance with what already has been approved.
What I have to say is the following. The wall that was there before, it was not a parking lot. It was their access also to a part that they have where they store things, and they have a canopy. Now the situation will be different because there is a wall, there will be a 4-foot landscape buffer, and then you will have the landscaping. So that, I think that will resolve the issue of the maintenance of the wall. The house across the street, that is unexcusable, and the trash is also unexcusable. So my proposal is I don't know what you will vote, but what I would say is from now to the council meeting, you have the opportunity to show your good faith, clean everything, take out whatever you have in that house and try to put it somewhere else in a commercial place, because in the house you cannot have that and you cannot be conducting business out of that house. So you have 15 days to show that you want to do the things right. So that's what I say that can be done from now to the council meeting, but you.
Would you terribly mind explaining that to him in Spanish so
No,
that he can,
lo
I mean,
que-
I'm sure that the representatives will bring him up to speed, on a sidebar, but please, that way he can get a,
Mr. Lagos, lo que yo estoy explicando es lo siguiente. No sé lo que ellos van a votar, pero pienso que de acá hasta dentro de 15 días, cuando sea la próxima audiencia con los concejales, usted tiene la oportunidad de mejorar esta situación que los vecinos están señalando. ¿Cómo? Manteniendo todo limpio y asegurándose de que la casa de enfrente no la usa para conducir el negocio, porque eso es una casa single family y no puede conducir ahí un negocio yendo y viniendo. Así que tiene 15 días para corregir y para mostrar su buena fe, que que está dispuesto a hacer las cosas de una manera mejor. Eso sería la oportunidad que yo veo para ser buen vecino con los otros residentes que están acá quejándose de cosas que se evidencian en la fotografía. And regarding those poles that you say dividing the street, that is not our call. That would be the streets department. I've never seen those in city streets. So I don't know if that can be done. I will consult with them, but I'm not sure. I have never seen that done here.
thank you.
No, I know exactly what you say. I know exactly that intersection. So while between now and the council meeting, I will speak with the streets director, Jose Sanchez, and I will show him the situation. He will go and see, and he will give an assessment, and he will recommend on what can be done to improve the intersection.
You're talking those poles that they have like down the Palmetto, down on 95 on the HOV lane?
No.
They're kind of flexible.
I know the.
Yeah, we got you.
I know the poles, but
Yeah, yeah.
I've never seen those poles in a local street.
In a local
I've
street.
never seen them.
Through the chair,
Yes, please.
is there any way that we could contact code enforcement so they could put an investigation into this home that is being used for? I would like for that to happen if it's possible.
Yes.
Because it's very concerning to me that he's having a second home. I have very much, I want there to be homes in Hialeah.
Mhm.
All these apartments, and you know how I feel about homes in Hialeah.
Mhm.
They're constantly being mowed down, and I'm totally not in favor of that. And now I work with a lot of restaurants, and I see what they do to some places, and I'm totally not really in favor of what's happening right now with a single-family home. Especially, when I feel bad for the neighbors because I know what these kind of businesses bring into these areas. I understand. I work with a lot of restaurants, so I know what you're going through right now. So if we could do something with code enforcement,
I think the public here can meet with code enforcement, provide them with their evidence, and then code enforcement does what it needs to do. So,
Well, it's part of the record now, so
Yeah.
I will submit
Yeah.
these to code enforcement.
Okay, just for the record, it is a thriving business. It's a good business. But again, has it possibly outgrown that particular, I don't want you to move because you're close to my house and I enjoy patronizing you. You have good food, you have good products, okay? But possibly not,
yeah.
not, how should I say, not growing, in other words, as aggressively.
No, You can grow, but you have to control the damage that you're doing to the adjacent residential neighborhood.
Right.
Lo que digo es que queremos que crezcas, pero también queremos que controles el impacto a tus vecinos.
Y yo lo que dije fue que su negocio, yo voy a su negocio por lo menos una vez a la semana.
Y yo le puedo decir algo. Habrá otro negocio limpio como Hialeah, pero como aquí no es.
Diga.
Le voy a decir, habrá otro negocio limpio en Hialeah, pero no hay otro, no hay un segundo. Yo no estoy de acuerdo en ningún momento con lo que ellos han expresado aquí.
Bueno,
Pero bueno, son los vecinos. Y hay que-
ellos no han dicho que su negocio está sucio, señor. Lo que están diciendo es la parte de afuera.
pero es que la parte de afuera yo no la puedo controlar.
Bueno,
La calle yo no la
bueno,
puedo controlar.
como usted, como,
Ahí está el mandano, porque ellos no se quejan.
mira,
mandano.
yo te entiendo lo que usted está diciendo, pero lo que estamos hablando ahora es la segunda casa al frente que lo está usando como un negocio también. Que
Como
no,
un negocio, no, ahí yo tengo una gente rentada.
y lo
esa
están
casa
usando
está
como
rentada.
storage.
Pero por ahí puedo meter yo mi carro, cuando yo no voy a entrar con mi carro. Tengo que pedir permiso, no es una propiedad mía. Yo no voy a la propiedad de ella a meterme. Ni los
Okay.
molesto.
Okay. Any
Yo
more
vivo en
comments?
esa web, pero esa casa es mía.
Okay.
Y que
Okay.
basura, pues, tu casa no lleva basura.
Señor Lago. You're recognized.
Through the chair. Will the parking lots on East Fourth Avenue, are those gonna be eliminated or is that
No,
gonna be
no,
an addition?
the parking lot on East Fourth Avenue will remain, and he will build an addition to the existing restaurant in the, what is now the rear parking lot. So he will have a new parking lot in this empty lot.
So in essence, this is gonna help improve the traffic perhaps, because then you won't have so much concentration in one area alone. You'll have more, parking spaces available in the back, and it's good for delivery as well.
Yeah, well, maybe the delivery in this case, we can establish and write it in a covenant that maybe the delivery needs to be fronting East Fourth, that is far from the homes, not in the rear parking lot.
And when, also in the description says he plans to build an addition in the existing restaurant,
Yes.
will that help East crossing the street to do the, I don't know if I'd ask Mr. Largo.
Well, that we don't know because you know how people are. They go to McDonald's, then they want the orange juice, and they cross across.
Yeah, when you get to school, when the school is out, man, that McDonald's, that McDonald's is rocking. Okay.
And will the
Okay.
parking lot, I'm sorry, will the parking lot be open 24 hours or will there be a gate?
Okay, we can, I'm sorry, I, as much as I would love to recognize you, and, the public hearing has pretty much been closed. And we can't hear you. I mean, the record can't hear you, so bear with me for a second, okay? Is there any more comments or questions from the colleagues here?
Would he be held accountable for the trash that's on the side of the road? Because if it's on the side of the road, I mean, who says that it's coming from his business? That's a restaurant. I'm sure everybody eats inside and
Well, each property owner is responsible for the soil area. So if the soil area is dirty, he has to maintain the soil area.
Okay. Go ahead.
I wanted to go with your question. Is the parking going to be open 24 hours as well?
El parqueo va a estar abierto 24 horas. El negocio está abierto 24 horas.
No. No.
¿Hasta qué hora está abierto el negocio?
El negocio en este momento,
Sí.
hasta las 9 de la noche.
¿Vos estarías dispuesto a poner una cadena para cerrar el parqueo a la noche?
Yo pongo la cadena.
He is willing to put a chain to close the...
una de las cosas que ellos están preocupados es que después de que cierre el negocio, que por ejemplo van a ver gente andando ahí en el parqueo toda la noche, tú sabes, como hacen en McDonald's.
Ajá, McDonald's se trabaja las 24 horas.
Sí, pero ellos están preocupados que van también a usar el parqueo de usted. para, tú
El
sabes, para
parqueo de
quedarse ahí
usted.
todas las
Ellos
noches.
usan nuestro parqueo, claro.
Así, a lo mejor tú le
y
puedes
los asientos
asegurar,
de nosotros ahí los...
sí, a lo mejor puedes asegurarle que vas a poner, tú sabes, lo que es la cadena esa para que nadie después del negocio,
Nosotros lo
digo
que
yo, que
queremos es que
pueda...
nos den la oportunidad de salir, de hacer otro negocio para que Hialeah tenga empleo. Para los,
Ellos le encantan tu restaurante, ellos no están quejándose de la comida, a lo contrario, dice que siempre va a comer ahí, porque están preocupados de lo que es la basura y el parqueo, que a lo mejor la gente
El parque,
nadie,
el
tú sabes,
parqueo propuesto va a estar al lado de su casa, más cerca que del McDonald's. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. No. It's, I just want you, I don't want you to get the wrong impression, but there are some guidelines that have been set for the meeting, and we do need to adhere to them as closely as possible. Okay? We have to keep order. If not, okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
Solo quiero hacer un último comentario. Yo entiendo que usted no controla la calle, pero por ejemplo, enfrente de mi casa, si hay basura, yo trato de recogerla. ¿Usted cree que puede comprometerse a mantener el área enfrente del parqueo más limpio para que ellos no tengan una casa
prometo lo que
sucia?
sea. Quiero que me den la oportunidad.
Claro.
¿Ok?
Okay. There's no more comments, no more questions. Closes the part of the public hearing. Unless the board has one last comment or question.
Could there be approval with condition? Like maybe where they put a,
And I think that what we can do is between now and the council meeting, have a declaration of restrictions and put some restrictions on the property. He proffered the time of operation. We can include that in that declaration. He says that he's okay on closing the parking lot. We can put that in the declaration. He also said that he's willing to have someone clean the soil area while his store is open, no? Because probably he gets there in the morning and it's full of trash from McDonald's, so we have to contemplate that too. So maybe we can create a set of things that he proffers, and then we go from there.
May I suggest, since we brought court enforcement into play here, if and when court enforcement does make it out there, to be as
I think those are two separate processes, because first they have to issue notice of violation. A certain amount of days need to pass.
Right.
So I think they're two parallel things, but they are.
That's not my question. I'm with you on that. My question, my suggestion is there any way possible that court enforcement can possibly identify to a certain degree the garbage, the debris, is it, let's face it, McDonald's wrappers, they have the big M on it. Is it McDonald's that is doing? Is it his business?
I know
the way it works, if I could just digress for a moment, Mr. Chair, if we're going to have a declaration with proffers, I would like to ensure, for example, that the applicant has already said he's willing to do a chain link fence. I'd like to ensure that whatever it is that will be these conditions, that they be expressed now and that the applicant agrees. So he's already proffered and agreed that he would do the chain link fence.
No, it's not a chain link
Whatever-
fence. It's a chain to
Whatever,
close the-
okay, what a chain link, okay. With regard to code enforcement, the way it works is based on evidence. So they have to go out and there's statutory notices, there's certain time lags, and it's up to the public to appear before the special magistrate, just like they did tonight, present this evidence. Of course, the applicant or whomever, whatever other witnesses come, present their side of it, and then the special magistrate makes a decision. So it's not really up to code enforcement to determine as such who is at fault. The magistrate will do that. Of course, code enforcement's obligation is to go out and to verify the evidence, but they're almost nonpartisan to a point, Of course, if they see a violation, they'll cite it. But in the end, it's about evidence and the magistrate weighing that evidence. So, for them to go out and see there's a McDonald's here or whatever other businesses, what's important, I think, is what Ms. Storch said. If he wants to show good faith, maybe come in with the photos and show he cleaned the area and whatever and whatnot. But all that is a sidebar. What I would like, if you will, Mr. Chair, is to identify those conditions that the applicant would agree with, so I can ensure they go into the declaration.
Ultimately, the property in question will be held accountable for the mischief, the neglect, what have you. Whether the debris comes from McDonald's, whether it comes, is it La Vaquita or is it a farm store or some? No, I'm talking about the business across it. There used to be La Vaquita. Is it still the farm store? Okay, so what I'm saying, David, is if the debris is McDonald's or is it the farm stores or is it the churro place or whoever dumped on his property, ultimately he is responsible for the cleanliness and the upkeep of the property. And that's why I was, but then again, it may not be fair for him to have to pick up after other entities, but such is life.
The chair? I have a couple more concerns. It's not just the garbage that's around the area. It's not about the parking. It's not everything else. There's obviously a health code violation in process right now. If he's using a home for storage, whether it's dry food, cold food, or storage. These foods, when they're stored, they need to be inspected by a health code person that come from the health department. They come and they do the inspections and they get their license. From what I'm seeing, if he's doing that, then he's trying to circumvent the system by hiding his storage into another location that is not on the actual property of the restaurant. That is not only it's not only illegal, it's a health and safety issue to the community. I cannot allow this to move forward. I think that what he's doing is the parking lot is not the issue here anymore. It's that secondary house across the street that I am concerned about that is being used to store food more than likely. He's saying no, but there's witnesses saying that they see hand trucks moving back and forth across the street into a secondary home. This should be investigated because this could be a health code violation. And this is putting people that are eating in the location in danger. I work with lots of restaurants, as you guys know. I see a lot of things happen. And this is not the first time that I see a home or an apartment or even an office unit being used as storage to hide the things that they don't want the health inspectors to see. This needs to be investigated further. I don't like the way things are moving for him. And I would like to motion to deny and to continue with an investigation by not only I would like for the health department and also oh my God.
Health Department is a state agency, so.
Oh, they should be notified.
Okay.
That's what I feel. I feel like the health department should be notified because obviously, I think if he is doing that, the only reason they do that, and I've seen it been done several times, is to circumvent the system.
Okay, I'm with you. I agree with the addition of the parking, but everything else, we're on the same, we see eye to eye on that.
This is a health code violation,
Right.
and I would like to motion to deny.
We have a motion to deny on the floor.
Second.
And we have a second.
The motion, Mr. Ulloa, second, Mrs. Henriquez. Mr. Gamon?
No.
Mr. G. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. Casanova?
No.
Mr. Jimenez?
This is on the motion to deny?
Yeah. Mrs. Enrique?
Yes.
So we have a tie.
We have a tie. Okay, so we have a tie. We cannot deny the motion. So now the next step is we need someone else. Mr. York can also motion, but I don't think he's going to go back on his motion to now. We need someone else to make another motion. Approve, table, what have you.
Yeah, I agree. The motion, so the motion failed. It's a
Motion
tie.
failed.
So It's up to this board what they want to do.
Make a motion, someone else make a motion.
Can a comment be made?
Absolutely.
How do we know that this young man is storing really food in his house? I'm not saying that they're lying, but how do we know this? You know what I mean? Well, like, how we're not gonna give him, you know what I mean, the benefit of the doubt that he's not doing that, you know what I mean? Or that he is doing that. So the problem is the trash. They were saying the problem is the trash. They're really concerned about the trash and the parking lot. You know what I mean? They're saying that across the street he owns the property, but we really don't know that he's really storing food there. You know what I mean? He owns the property, maybe, you know what I mean? Those restrictions, like we mentioned earlier,
Through the
I
chair?
would think that we put those restrictions on him because obviously his restaurant's not the problem, you know, like the food and all that. Everybody likes it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe I'm sure he would agree. You know, he's been in business for a long time. He would put restrictions on him and we let him know that, hey, look, for this to go on, you're going to have to take care of the trash no matter what, even if it's on your property, whether it's from McDonald's or not, it's on your property. So you know, in front of my business, the man that owns it, every morning he cleans it up and he's cleaning up beer bottles and it's a chiropractor place. You know what I mean? And he's taking care, he cleans it no matter what. So maybe I'm sure we put restrictions on him. Like I'm sure he wouldn't mind doing it. What he's trying to do is grow. What he's trying to do is grow.
Possibly
And we
assign
can't,
an
you know,
individual.
stop him from, you know, like.
Let's translate.
Probably
Lo-
assign an
lo que,
individual to monitor and clean. Go ahead.
Lo que el señor está diciendo es que nosotros realmente no sabemos si es verdad que usted guarda comida en esa casa o no, que es una acusación que no sabemos si es cierta en este momento, que bueno, eso se investigaría por otro canal, pero que estaría bien si usted estaría dispuesto a aceptar ciertas restricciones, como dijimos, poner la cadena para cerrar, asegurarse que usted va a mantener las áreas alrededor de su negocio y otras condiciones en una declaración que usted tendría que
Yo
firmar.
dije que estoy dispuesto a cooperar, pero no se guarda comida allí.
He says that he's willing to cooperate, but there's no food that is stored in
We really
that
don't
house.
know that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, he owns the property. He does have every right, you know what I mean, to
We
go into the
don't
property.
know, and we are not considering that address at
exactly.
this time. We are considering a parking lot in this address. That is something that we just learned, and there is a code enforcement department, so we will refer the case to them, and they will do the research, and that will go through that line.
Please, through the chair, can we table this until code enforcement comes back with an answer?
That's a good idea.
I've got no problem with
Yeah,
that.
when he clears all
Some-
those codes, I mean, I would
Someone
say
make a
that,
motion
you
to
know what I mean? It
table
would
and,
be-
you know,
Like
gotta
a motion
go.
to table?
Second.
Okay, so motion, Mr. Ulloa, second, Mrs. Enriquez. Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Casanova?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes, with the conditions after follow-up from code enforcement and that the property is maintained being cleaned before they come back again.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramon?
I agree with Mr. Ulloa, yes.
Okay, item has been tabled.
Okay. Let's,
You explain to him.
Let me explain you.
yeah.
El caso quedó en suspenso, así el Departamento de Código puede ir a ver lo que pasa con esa casa y darnos un reporte en eso. Y además, así mientras elaboramos el documento con todas estas condiciones, y usted mientras tanto, hasta que viene el próximo hearing, tiene la oportunidad de mantener todo limpio y mostrar que tiene voluntad de que se mantenga todo limpio. Por ahora está en suspenso, es como si hoy no hubiera pasado nada.
¿Cuándo sería el próximo hearing?
En 2 semanas.
Marzo 23.
No tan negado, simplemente como una pausa para ver que no, ¿sabes? Lo que están diciendo, que no está guardando comida en la casa, tú sabes, al frente, que no es un estoraje.
Mire, le voy a decir, y ella sabe lo que se guarda en la casa. En la casa se guarda desechable. En la casa no, en el garaje, no en la casa.
Yeah, but
Un garaje,
right there, he's saying that he's doing a house code violation right there. That's a house code violation. He's not supposed to be doing that.
Okay.
Sí, pero
Ahí no hay frío.
eso no importa, pero tú no puedes estar guardando cosas de negocio, aunque sea platos, cosas secas.
Ah, bueno, ya yo sé que no se puede hacer.
Eso no es solo una violación es una violación de house code. No sé si usted lo sabe, porque
yo
donde
sé que
están las
no,
cosas, ellos
porque estaba de
investigan no
acuerdo.
solo Es un health code violation lo que usted
Ok,
está haciendo.
eso mañana ya no hay container. O sea, que no se puede guardar, no hay container ahí. Ok, eso era para un depósito, no es para usar ni nada, es un depósito.
Will there be follow-up from the,
Well,
from another
I will
department?
refer the case to code enforcement. Code enforcement will send an inspector. The inspector will inspect, and what they do, they observe the violations, they go to the code, and they say which part of the code they are violating. That is the report that we will have, pictures that they might take.
And then we have something to
But they
go
don't
on.
make any they don't make any
No, no.
recommendation. Yeah.
But-
And then you will know for sure what is happening in that house. And meanwhile, we'll work on the draft of the declaration of restrictions and talk with him to see if he's in agreement. So we will be prepared 2 weeks from now. And meanwhile, he will clean the property.
Okay. I'm with you. Because right now, the application looked good for the parking. I'm good with parking, extra parking. Okay, I'm good with that. But then an allegation came up of storage and stuff that we have no proof of. So I concur with letting it roll one more meeting, do a little bit of follow-up, and then we have something in front of us come next week. Okay. Este caso ha sido suspendido por 2 semanas, hasta el próximo. Mientras tanto, el Departamento de Código va a prestarle una visita a usted. Los inspectores van a ver si es que es verdad que está guardando o almacenando. No importa que sea desechable, no importa que sea comida, son cosas del negocio, ¿ok? Que eso está fuera de código. ¿Ok? El inspector va a visitarlo, va a inspeccionar, él va a redactar un reporte, él no recomienda, él simplemente dice, yo vi esto, yo no vi esto, bla, 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 bla. Lo presenta aquí, entonces ya no es solamente una acusación de los vecinos, que es posible que sea verdad, es posible que sea mentira. Usted mismo aceptó que efectivamente usted...
Yo dije porque yo no voy a dejar, yo dije que voy a decir la verdad y digo la verdad.
Perfecto. Y eso...
Muy agradecido.
Ellos deben decir muchas verdades que no han dicho.
Eso para mí...
Ellos
Okay.
han muchas verdades que no han dicho.
Eso para mí vale mucho. Entonces vamos a hacer esto. En 2 semanas regresamos y revisitamos este caso de nuevo. Ya venimos armados con más evidencia, con más pruebas, con más bala, vaya. Okay? Okay, so we do have a
Motion to table.
Motion to
we do
table
have a
and
table
passed.
that's been
Yes.
passed. Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, so that was tabled.
Okay, so item number 7
2 weeks.
needs to be withdrawn to be re-advertised.
Item number 7 withdrawn.
Yes, so no action on item number
The
7.
address is?
Oh, yes, the address is 40 East 10th Avenue, Hialeah Zone C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District. Miscellaneous items not requiring advertising. Item number 8, tentative plat of Hialeah Las Brisas.
Okay, so this is a residential lot that is divided by meets and bounds. So what the applicant wants to do is to replat the property into 2 lots. Since the standard size of the lots in the city is 75 by 100, and they are proposing to have frontage of 40 feet, they need first to go to a variance. That is a variance to allow the replatting of the property into 2 substandard lots. So the recommendation from the planning unit is, well, these are substandard lots. We can give a conditional approval subject to the variance approval. The Department of Water and Sewers made an assessment of the infrastructure. They mentioned there is an existing 2-inch water main and an existing 8-inch sewer main abutting the property along West 32nd Street. They need to comply with fire hydrant spacing requirements from the City of Hialeah Fire Department. An 8-inch minimum water main extension may be required. Provide separate water and sewer services to each of the lots. Sanitary sewer flow goes to PS 04106, that is the pump station that is in okay status. Any change of use requires approval from the City of Hialeah Department of Public Works and DERM. Since the plat process is a very lengthy process, because once we approve the tentative plat, it goes to the county, it's reviewed by the county. The county gives comments, they suggest corrections, and then it comes back to us for final plat. I think that even though they didn't come for the variance yet, we can give them the chance to, at their own risk, to continue the process. And when the time comes for the final plat, if this variance is not in place and was not approved, this will need to be abandoned. So my recommendation is to approve with the condition, Mr. De La Paz.
Comments or questions?
Well, one question, they want to change it from what to what again?
This is like a double lot that
Okay.
has 80 feet, so they want to divide it into 2 lots and probably build a house on each of the lots.
Single-family homes?
But they need a variance for that. So they didn't apply for it. Usually they first come, they apply for the variance, they get the variance, and then they replat the property. Since there were instances where the plat was not finished, they rushed this time and they started with the plat. So it's okay that they start the process, but they still need to come for the other part.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Frank De La Paz, 9361 Burr Road, Miami. The intent is, as stated, to divide the property into 2 buildable single-family houses. A little bit of history. At the beginning, this was one big cow farm town, one big piece of property. The first subdivision in that neighborhood has similar lots. And then because of the Great Depression and before the war, the people changed their plat back to flats so they can have agricultural exemption. And then after the war, when we start building again, we start subdividing the lots again to smaller size without the benefits of a plat. And then ordinance was changed. And now we have to have platted lots if you want to be in the city. To the west of us, even though they're abutting us, and for some reason they have duplex zoning, they were built as single family. So instead of going for the duplex, we decided just to have 2 single family houses.
Thank you.
On each lot.
Very nice.
And once we get this going, the other application for the variances is on the pipeline with site plan and concurrency and all that good stuff.
Thank you. Any more comments or questions from the board? Anyone in the electronic audience? Closes the part of public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Second that motion.
Motion, Mr. Ulloa, second, Mr. Casanova. Mr. Ramon?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Casanova?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Item has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll all be back.
I'll be back. A famous actor said that.
The meeting over.
Oh, my God.
No. We need to recognize you.
Item number 9, old business. Okay, no old business. Item number 10, new business.
New business. I'd like to recognize our latest board member, Mr. Jimenez. Jimenez, right?
Yes.
Yep. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, sir.
Looking forward to have some long, no, not really long, but exciting evenings. Just like I told our colleague here from last meeting. And I don't think I have let you down yet, right?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, so welcome aboard. Thank you, sir. Pobrecito. Ya la voy.
At least we had 2 fun meetings, the last one
Yeah.
and this one.
Gotta keep it
Okay.
exciting. It's the only way.
Going once, twice. Sold to the highest bidder.